YouTube, what's going on? Your boy Young Mustard is back with another video, and today we are here to discuss what every single person involved with the game of basketball in the media and everybody who's a fan of basketball is talking about. Where the hell is LeBron James going next year? Now, LeBron James isn't a new person when it comes to free agency. We all know his infamous decision in 2010 to leave Cleveland to go to Miami, and we all know his decision part 2 to leave Miami to go back to Cleveland and join forces with Kyrie Irving and trade for Kevin Love. So it is clear that LeBron James, he's just not new when it comes to this, and it's going to be a big decision that's going to impact the NBA for the next 5 to 6 years, depending on how long he signs that contract. And this may be the most impactful decision that LeBron James has ever made throughout all 3 decisions that he's made in his career when it comes to free agency. Now, in this video, I will give the destinations because there have been a lot of suggestions and a lot of teams that are on the board to get LeBron James and could possibly land LeBron James. And then at the end, I will give my opinion on who I think LeBron James will and should go to. Now, let's start off with the first team. Now, I'm going to discuss Miami first because there have been a lot of rumors and speculation that LeBron James could possibly go back to Miami. And if LeBron James does do that, he would be teaming back up with Dwayne Wade again, even though some people have said that D-Wade may retire after this season. But the thing is, I think if D-Wade sees LeBron go back there just for a few seasons, I actually think D-Wade would stay for one more season to play with LeBron James again. But when it comes to LeBron going back to Miami, I just don't think that will happen because, for one, they don't have any superstars on that team. Sure, you could trade Hassan Whiteside, but you're not going to get some superstar for someone like him, especially considering how he played in the playoffs. And Goran Dragic is a nice player, but he's their best player, and at best he can be an all-star when another all-star gets hurt because that's the only way he even makes the all-star game. And when it comes to the Miami Heat, at best he can get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think he'd still lose to a team like Boston or a team like Philly. So when it comes to the Miami Heat getting LeBron James, I just don't see that happening. And though Pat Riley is a great GM and Eric Spoelstra is a really great coach and underrated, by the way, they're not great enough to where they can just sway LeBron James to join that team despite the talent on that roster. Now, the next team that we're going to discuss is the most enticing one that has gone out through on the whole season with this James Harden and Chris Paul experiment, and that is the Houston Rockets. Now, on paper, if you just add LeBron James to this team without taking away any pieces, this team would win the finals. I have no doubt in my mind that this team would definitely go to the finals, defeat the Golden State Warriors on the way there if they had to face them, and they would win because the East is weak as hell. And when it comes to this team on paper, it would be great to see LeBron James join with James Harden, who's an MVP because I expect him to win the MVP, and Chris Paul, who's one of the most elite point guards in the NBA today. But when you look at the financial part of it, it just does not look like it is going to happen because they would have to gut out a lot of their roster. And when you have a coach like Mike D'Antoni and a GM like Daryl Morey who loves three-point shooting, I mean, they can't get enough of it. They would have to give up a lot of three-point shooters and a lot of viable parts of their bench, such as Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson. Even though Ryan Anderson isn't that good of a player, he averaged 9 points and 5 rebounds at the age of 29, and he's still getting paid over $17 million a year. They would have to get rid of that contract and maybe package it with Eric Gordon because they already have over $80 million committed to next year, and Chris Paul and Clint Capella, they are free agents. And CP3 has already said that he's not willing to shave any of that max contract that he's available for, and Clint Capella is a restricted free agent, and it's going to be pretty tough because a lot of teams are probably going to throw him a max. Let's just call it what it is. And the Houston Rockets, financially, it's just not going to work out for this team because a lot of teams, it's going to be tough to see who wants Ryan Anderson's contract for a player that should be playing at his best but is averaging 9 points and 5 rebounds. He didn't even play that much in the Western Conference Finals, and though he is a good three-point shooter, he doesn't give you anything else. He's not an efficient scorer. He doesn't score that efficiently, and he's not a good defender, and he's not even a good rebounder. So it's going to be pretty tough to find teams that are going to want a contract with the production of someone like a Ryan Anderson. So I just don't see this happening, even though it would be pretty nice to see LeBron paired up with James Harden and Chris Paul. Now, the next team that we're going to discuss is the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, a lot of people are really just dismissing the Lakers, and I made a video a while ago talking about how the Lakers could get LeBron. And the thing about the Lakers, to me, that is the best fit for LeBron, because he could go to this team. I honestly do think that the Lakers are among the 3 teams that really legitimately could get LeBron James. But the thing about this team that people are not understanding is that though they do have a lot of great young key players, would they actually go and get LeBron James and put him on a team that, you know, these players are inconsistent? Lonzo Ball isn't a great shooter. LeBron, though he can be respectable from 3, we all know LeBron's key is spacing. So when it comes to the fit, that really is the only question mark. But all the other boxes are checked. The family already has a home in LA. They're probably used to being in LA anyway. LeBron spends the summer there practicing and things like that. And then you also have the team when it comes to the money. He will get all the money in the world because they have the ability to sign 2 max contract players, so they can even give him more than what he wants. And his brand will be at the best that it has ever been. He's the best player in the NBA, one of the greatest players of all time, and he's playing for the greatest franchise of all time in the Los Angeles Lakers. How great does it get? And he has a front office GM of Magic, Irvin Johnson. And if Magic Johnson can be even just half as good as the GM as he was a player, LeBron won't even have to worry about being the GM like he was in Cleveland. So when it comes down to the Los Angeles Lakers, they check a lot of boxes. It just depends on, one, if they can get another max contract player, because we all know LeBron doesn't do things if they're not set in stone beforehand, just like the Kevin Love trade. Even though, let's be honest here, I think LeBron signed in Cleveland before they traded for Love, but let's be real, he knew they were going to get Kevin Love anyway. So if they can guarantee that they're going to get another max contract player, I mean, hey, it's definitely possible for him to go to LA. They are one of the top teams that could get him. Now, I don't see it happening because I think LeBron does value winning a bit more than his brand, because he does live in Cleveland. His brand will always be at a high level and higher than anybody in the NBA. So I don't think that the brand is just enough for him to just outsway winning, but they are definitely a candidate. Now, the next team I would like to discuss is the San Antonio Spurs. Now, when it comes to the Spurs, on paper, I definitely think that if they got LeBron James, they could definitely contend with the Golden State Warriors and potentially beat them. Not saying it'd be absolute or they definitely do it, because I don't know for sure. We have to see that team play a bit more, but there are a lot of question marks with LeBron going to the Spurs. For one, we don't know how long Greg Popovich wants to be a coach. That's a big deal, because LeBron James, in my opinion, deserves to play with an all-time great coach. When you look at all the top 10 players in the league throughout NBA history, LeBron James is the only one that has not played with an all-time great coach. Kobe Bryant played with Phil Jackson. Jordan played with Phil Jackson. You also have Pat Riley with Magic Johnson and Kareem. You also have Red Auerbach. You have so many great Hall of Fame coaches that have played with Hall of Fame players in the top 10 list of all time. And LeBron, look at the coaches he's had: Eric Spoelstra, Mike Brown, Tyronn Lue, David Blatt. I mean, he hasn't really had the all-time great coaches like the other players have in the top 10. And we all know LeBron and Greg Popovich have a great relationship. But how long is Popovich planning on coaching? That's one of the big reasons why CP3 didn't go to San Antonio, because even though they can't sustain a level of consistency, how long is it going to last with Greg Popovich being the coach? And another issue is, one, Pau Gasol's contract. That's a huge contract, and who really wants Pau Gasol at his age with the amount of money that he is getting right now? And then also Kawhi Leonard's health. We don't know if Kawhi Leonard is going to be injury prone for the rest of his career. I mean, according to him, he wasn't healthy throughout the whole entire season. Even though the Spurs doctors cleared him, he basically felt like their test was bullshit. So when it comes to Kawhi Leonard's health, that's a big factor. But the real reason why I just don't think San Antonio will get LeBron is because of financial reasons. Nobody wants Pau Gasol at his age with that huge contract that he has, and with aging players like Tony Parker. You don't know how great DeJounte Murray will be. Manu Ginobili will be retiring soon. LaMarcus Aldridge is up and down with consistency. And is LeBron willing to sacrifice numbers, because your numbers aren't going to reflect how great you are of a player in the San Antonio system? Just ask Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and also ask LaMarcus Aldridge, who's even on the roster as we speak. So when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs, we don't know. A lot of X factors, injuries, finance, Greg Popovich staying in San Antonio for who knows how long. Too many X factors, and that's why I just don't think LeBron will go to San Antonio. Now, the next option is really, truly the most interesting out of them all, and that is the Boston Celtics. I truly do think the Celtics have a chance to get LeBron James. I mean, when you have a player such as Kyrie Irving, who has already played with LeBron, there's a level of familiarity. You also have good young players coming up, just like the Lakers situation. Players coming up as LeBron starts to decline in a massive way, of course. You have players like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who are proven in the playoffs and in the regular season that they have levels of superstar status that they can achieve one day, and maybe may achieve sooner rather than later. You also have a great coach in Brad Stevens, who without question is definitely at least the second best coach in the NBA, and who will go on to being a Hall of Fame coach. So LeBron James can say he's played for Brad Stevens, even though he doesn't play for someone like a Popovich. He can play with someone like a Brad Stevens, who without question in my mind will go down as one of the greatest coaches, not only in Celtics history, but in NBA history. So he can have that box filled for once in his career. And also, you have a team that just shows a definite level of consistency, even when their best players sit out. And that is something that LeBron has needed for a long time. He has needed to rest and relax, so that way his elite years and his career can be prolonged even more. I mean, this guy said he wants to play with the son of the NBA. That will be possible if he plays with a team like the Boston Celtics. Now, obviously, you have cons. You have a lot of cons with this team. Al Horford's contract, that's a huge thing. A lot of people are forgetting that. You also have players such as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They may not be as great as we think they are, even though I think they are great players and they're going to become great players. But the thing about it is, we don't know. They are young players. You know, people can have sophomore declines. It happens. Sophomore slumps. It happens. Jaylen Brown didn't play that well in the playoffs against the Cavs. He struggled in some games, so there is some level of consistency that he would have to go through. And also, Gordon Hayward. Are they willing to trade Gordon Hayward? We all know Danny Ainge is a snake. We all know he's a snake. He's a sly, slick snake. But is he that much of a snake to trade Gordon Hayward so they can get the player that was on the opposing team of the Boston Celtics when Gordon Hayward got injured? I mean, LeBron James, even though he's been destroying the Celtics ever since he went to Miami, is he even willing to go to a rival team? Is he willing to do that? Also, another thing that people aren't talking about that much is if Kyrie Irving is willing to go back to being a second option again, because the big reports is that Kyrie Irving wanted to be the man on his own team and lead a team to a championship. And last year he showed that he could possibly do that, but it would be the same situation that happened in 2015 as he signs the extension and then LeBron decides to come back to Cleveland. It would be almost the same exact thing, except Kyrie would have 1 year left in his deal, and that can make him not re-sign and stay with the Celtics. But there are a lot of question marks with the Boston Celtics, and I think there are too many question marks for LeBron James to join that roster, even though it would be kind of a perfect fit for him. But I just don't think that it will happen, because there are too many X's, too many red flags, too many question marks with this roster. Now, the next team that I will discuss is the most likely team to a lot of people, and that is the Philadelphia 76ers. This team for sure has a big, and I think honestly, aside from the team that we'll discuss at the end, they have the biggest chance to sign LeBron James, because the 76ers, they got the second most amount of money to spend next year. JJ Redick is coming off of the books. He's got his bag, so definitely next year he could take that veteran minimum if he wanted to. You also have a lot of good young players on this team and on this roster that can play defense and shoot the three ball, such as Robert Covington. Ben Simmons is coming up, and if he can at least get a mid-range jumper, he can become another level of unstoppable. Joel Embiid is already unstoppable. They have a solid coach in Brett Brown. everything is set up for this team to be successful even if LeBron James doesn't join this roster next year. So it would be that much better if LeBron James, the best player in the world, joins this team. But obviously the questions, which are honestly the only questions for LeBron James joining this roster, is the fit. How will LeBron James fit with Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons can't shoot in any type of capacity, and though LeBron can play off ball, is he willing to play off ball and share ball handling responsibilities with the guy who can't shoot the ball and can't space the floor either? And Ben Simmons isn't a good free throw shooter as well. That's something else that we have to consider. Having Ben Simmons and LeBron James on the court, if they're passing the ball in late game situations, do you trust either of these guys to make a free throw? I mean, Ben Simmons took a layup because he didn't want to make a free throw, or at least didn't want to go to the free throw line against the Boston Celtics in one of the games in the playoffs. So also another thing that could be a minor situation for LeBron, this is why I do think LeBron should have, just stayed for one more year in Cleveland, because if they had agreed to trade for Paul George and Paul George said, okay, I'll stay with you in Cleveland if LeBron James commits. If LeBron had committed, he could have saw Joel Embiid for one more year healthy, because if Embiid stayed healthy for one more year and LeBron James played with Paul George next season, hey, he could have said, okay, Embiid's been healthy, so let me go join the Philadelphia 76ers. But because he wasn't willing to commit, PG didn't go to Cleveland, and now there are still some question marks with Joel Embiid's health. Now, I know the face mask, it is his face, it was a freak accident, but it's still an injury nonetheless, and that does add to the argument that Joel Embiid is a fragile NBA player. So when it comes to that, that is kind of a concern for LeBron James, but everything else, all the boxes are checked, and LeBron James could go to this team. I actually do think he could go to this roster. Now, the next team that I will discuss, which will be the last team before I give where I think LeBron will go, man, I hate to say it, but the Golden State Warriors, they got a chance, okay? It's a possibility. Look, they could easily, and I mean easily, the Warriors could trade Draymond or Iggy, or just both of them, or even Klay Thompson, and just get LeBron James just like that. Let's be real here. Draymond is probably the most expendable player among the big four. I think he is, because of the fact that Klay Thompson is just so valuable on any team. And if you have LeBron James, why would you not want Klay Thompson, a guy who can space that floor for him? So when it comes to the Golden State Warriors getting LeBron, there's a chance. I think honestly they could get him. They could easily trade Draymond and Iggy to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they could do a sign and trade with LeBron James. And even though I understand it would completely eliminate him from the GOAT conversation, let's just call it what it is, it's a chance. It's a possibility. It could happen. I'm pretty sure LeBron's family would love staying in the Bay Area. They already like it in LA. They already have a house there. They are already used to that kind of lifestyle. But the problem is, let's be real, I don't think LeBron's going to go to Golden State. They are just too much of rivals to him. And honestly, I think he does still want to chase that GOAT status. And I don't think LeBron wants it that easy. I do think he's a little bit more of a competitor than that. But hey, we said that about KD, and look at where KD ended up. Now we are at the conclusion of this video, where I will discuss where I think LeBron James will and should go to. Now, I'm going to preface my comments by saying this. Not saying that it's gonna happen, but this is what I think will happen and probably should happen. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think LeBron's staying in Cleveland. Now, honestly, it just comes down to basically two things. One, his family. What's the best option for his family? Just staying put where they are. These kids have moved 3 times in their lifetime. They moved to Miami, they moved back to Cleveland, and now if he leaves again, that would be the 3rd time they're moving. So when it comes to his family, Cleveland is probably the best destination for him, even though I know his wife said she wants to live in LA, but they can do that in the later years of his career. They can do that after he retires. And LeBron James, I'm pretty sure, will retire earlier than a lot of other legends, because he is really satisfied with what he is in basketball as we speak. So imagine as he gets older, he's going to be like, why do I have to even play and put my body through this anymore? So when it comes to him staying in Cleveland, I think he actually enjoys playing for the city of Cleveland. He just doesn't like playing with the players that he has, which is why I do think they could definitely trade Kevin Love. Now, not just Kevin Love, but they could trade Kevin Love and that 8th pick, whether it's for Paul George with the sign and trade, or as he opts in and they trade him for Kevin Love in that 8th pick, or it's for any other players out there. They could sign and trade for DeMarcus Cousins and get Kevin Love in that 8th pick, because there are a lot of, possibilities that could happen with that 8th pick. If Michael Porter Jr. were to fall that far down because of his injury and the Cavs took him, you're telling me that there wouldn't be teams out there that would put a lot of faith in Michael Porter Jr.'s potential and take Kevin Love's bad contract as, just a little sideburn? They definitely take it. So when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers and that 8th pick, that 8th pick is a little bit more valuable now that they do have Kevin Love and they can package Kevin Love with that pick. I mean, there's a chance. I'm just saying there's a chance for them to do it, and it's actually a bigger chance than a lot of people are even expecting and realizing. And honestly, I just think that at LeBron James' stage in his career, legends don't move around like this. They don't really move around at the age of 30, 33. They're usually staying put where they are. And I'm not saying that it would be bad for him to leave or it would hurt his legacy or anything. I'm just saying at this stage and at this point in LeBron James' career, I just don't see him hopping from team to team. I think he actually likes playing for the city of Cleveland. I think that's probably the biggest thing for LeBron James. I think he's going to stay. I really do honestly think he's going to stay. But you guys let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this video. I tried to make it short as possible, but there are a lot of teams and a lot of options for LeBron James. If you think I left any teams out, let me know in the comment section. If you agree to disagree with me, let me know. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell next to my name, follow me on social medias, especially on Twitter. The links for that will be in the description. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Have a great day. We out. Peace.